Greetings, history enthusiasts, and welcome to the Chronicles of Centuries, a 2,000-year odyssey unveiled. I'm Rafa, your AI-generated avatar, and I'll be your host throughout this series. In our previous episode, we delved into the events of the 1st century AD. Now, let's extend our adventure into the next century. The 2nd century AD spans the period from 101 to 200. In accordance with the Julian calendar, this century saw the Roman Empire reach its peak, with Emperor Trajan overseeing the second-largest expansion in its history, and Hadrian and Antoninus Pius fortifying these gains. Having conquered Britannia in the previous century, the Romans faced new challenges with the Caledonians in Scotland. Under Emperors Hadrian and Antoninus Pius, two walls were built to defend the Roman province from the Caledonians, whose realms in the Scottish Highlands were never controlled. While Hadrian's wall had a longer-lasting impact, the Antonini wall provides insights into the Romans' attempts to extend their influence further into Scotland. During this time, much prosperity took place throughout the Roman Empire, as it was ruled by the 5 good emperors, from 96 until 180. The last quarter of the century saw the end of the period of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, at the death of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, last of the 5 good emperors, who was succeeded by his son Commodus. After Commodus was murdered in 192, a turbulent period known as the Year of the 5 Emperors ensued, and began the decline of the empire. The year 193 saw 5 separate men vying for the title of emperor. Following the assassination of Commodus, Pertinax was named successor, but after attempting to reform the Praetorian Guard, he was killed by his own men after just 3 months. The throne was then, effectively, auctioned off to the highest bidder in the Senate, Didius Julianus, but at the same time, Septimius Severus gained approval from the Senate and was named emperor himself, having Didius executed just 9 weeks into his reign. Meanwhile, the governor of Syria, Pescennius Niger, proclaimed himself emperor. In response, Severus took action and set out to deal with Niger. After defeating Niger, Albinus proclaimed himself true emperor again in 196. Sparking another civil war which Severus also won, and the tumultuous period was finally at an end. In Asia, the Han dynasty of China maintained a firm grip on power, and expanded its imperial influence into Central Asia during the first half of the century. However, the latter part witnessed the emergence of widespread corruption and open rebellion. The Yellow Turban Rebellion and a separately Ang Province rebellion, both starting in 184, marked instances of peasants revolting, significantly weakening the Han, who struggled to suppress these uprisings. After the death of Emperor Ling in 189, a power struggle ensued between powerful eunuchs and the military. In response, warlord Dong Zhuo was summoned to deal with the eunuchs. However, instead of addressing the issue, he seized power for himself. By the time Dong was killed in 192, the damage had already been done. Warfare persisted throughout the country for decades. Meanwhile, at the imperial court, a succession of warlords governed in lieu of powerless. The Han finally fell next century into 20 AD, and China entered its greatest era of instability. This century saw the first major pandemic in Rome. The outbreak, now called the Antonini Plague, was likely smallpox, with plague often being used to describe any disease that is highly infectious. It is believed that the pandemic began while warring with the Parthians from 161 to 166, and conducting a siege in Mesopotamia. Brought back to Rome, it quickly spread throughout the empire. Conservative estimates suggest that the Antonini Plague killed between 5 and 10 million people in total, around 10% of the Roman population at the time. This period also saw the removal of the Jews from Jerusalem during the reign of Hadrian. He decided to rebuild the city as a colonia that would be inhabited by his legionaries and erase its Jewish heritage. There is controversy as to whether Hadrian's anti-Jewish decrees followed the Bar Kokhba revolt or preceded it and were the cause of the revolt. The traditional view suggests that the Bar Kokhba revolt was a reaction to Hadrian's oppressive measures against the Jewish population. According to this perspective, the revolt was a result of the Roman attempt to suppress Judaism in the region, including the prohibition of circumcision, the expulsion of Jews from Jerusalem, and the renaming of the province from Judea to Syria Palestina. This view implies that Hadrian's actions during and after the revolt were fueled by his anger and determination to eradicate Judaism. On the other hand, some scholars argue that Hadrian's anti-Jewish policies were implemented before the Bar Kokhba revolt and might have contributed to the tensions that led to the rebellion. Regardless of the sequence of events, it's clear that Hadrian's measures had a profound impact on the Jewish population, leading to significant changes in Jerusalem, such as the renaming of the city to Aelia Capitolina and the secularization of the once Jewish religious center. Overall, the 2nd century AD was a dynamic and multifaceted period, witnessing a blend of triumphs and tribulations that left a lasting impact on the historical trajectory of several civilizations, from the zenith of the Roman Empire and the continuity of the Han Dynasty to the challenges faced by empires in the Middle East. The century's developments in trade, science, religion, and culture contributed significantly to the rich tapestry of world history. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through the important events of the 2nd century AD. History comes alive when shared and discussed, so we invite you to be an active part of our community. Share your thoughts, insights, and questions. Your engagement is what makes this adventure meaningful. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.